Welcome back, guys. This is Gaming with Austin. Today, checking what episode this is. Today, we're on episode 35 of the Utopian Community series. To make sure it was right, going. Three, 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is good. Moon rising no more. Run away. 2, 3, 5. This is all good. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4. 6. Just counting. I have to mirror that. Moon rising no more. Run away from a door. Let's. This episode 35. What I'm doing is layering. That's what I'm doing. Layering. Doing it layer by layer. Because if you do it layer by layer, you can see how it's getting built. So you don't get lost. The reason this upload is going to be a little late is because I was eating out at at an Asian buffet at Flamin' Grill. Three, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is almost. I'm almost there. 5, 6. Good. No more run away from a door. This is good. It's all good. Just making sure everything's symmetrical. Good. all that taken care of. The new update of Minecraft is already out for Bedrock Edition. Which means Minecraft would be a whole lot better. A bit better. One thing I'd like, a suggestion for Minecraft 1.7 Bedrock Edition. One thing I would like for Bedrock Edition 1.7 is, let me think. More types of crops. Or maybe 1.8. No more run away from it all. And the reason this may be a little asymmetrical because the doors would be in the way. Run away from it all. And with the new update to Bedrock Edition, and eventually, possibly after a couple of episodes later, I might go on to Season 2 of the Utopian Community Series, where it's about revamping it. Revamping the path. Updating the path to make it, like, replace all that grass block paths with stone paths. Sheep, why the hell are you here? But I don't want to kill that sheep. Because just like in real life, compassion's a good idea. Compassion is pretty important. Maybe I could have that sheep as a pet someday. If I wanted to. Oops. Much better. All good? Just stretching my back, that's all. Moon rising no more, run away. The songs I was just singing, fragment of the song I was singing was from Full Moon by Sonata Arctica. Sonata Arctica. One thing that kind of offends me is jokes against jokes that make fun of vegans. Because I myself am vegetarian. Now, let's put the glowstones on. One thing we need to do is start living cruelty-free. Meaning, we need to stop all the no-kill shelters out there. Restaurants also need to stop serving live animals to customers. Because that's also abusive. It's animal abuse. Whether it's a live animal, whether it's a domesticated animal or a wild animal, it's still, it's considered abuse to be beating them. Doesn't matter if it's wild or domesticated. It's still abuse. Which is why I'm not going to go for a hunting rifle at all. Because I'd rather leave the deer alone. Because with hunting, when animals get killed for food via hunting, usually the strongest ones are the ones that get killed. Oops, I accidentally dropped my guideline for the houses I would build. Let's get those windows on. The only way to stop industrial farm animal abuse, the only possible way to do it is to fight capitalism. And to also go vegetarian. Because why the hell are we eating so much meat now? We don't need meat. Us humans, our bodies really are not designed for meat. Look at our search up the anatomy of a human being. Look at our teeth. Our canines are not huge. But with carnivores, their canines are pretty huge. For us humans, our canines are not that huge. In fact, some of us have larger... Some of us with incisors, their incisors are actually larger than their canines sometimes. Our canines are not sharp enough to gnaw down meat. Our canines are not designed for meat. They're meant for nuts and fruits, not meat. Animals with large canines, the large canines are the ones that are okay to eat meat. Look at cats. They need meat to survive. Dogs, they're omnivores. They can survive on either or. Meaning that you're okay to put a dog on a vegan diet, but you can't put a cat on a vegan diet without making them sick. You can put a dog on a vegan diet, and they're okay. Oops. Forgot to put a doorway for the kitchen. That's okay. already put that doorway in there. Unlike humans, who can go vegetarian, cats cannot. Without getting sick. Because, you know, they're obligate carnivores. Meaning they need meat to survive. We don't. PETA wants you to believe that cats and dogs can go vegan, but they're partially correct. Only dogs can go vegan. Only dogs can go vegan. Cats can't. The only way how cats can survive is by preying on smaller animals. That's how they can survive. Because they're obligate carnivores. Meaning, they need meat. We don't. There's no need to eat meat. Imagine if you give a bunny and an apple to a baby. The baby's gonna play with the bunny and eat the apple. But if you give a bunny and an apple to a tiger, the tiger, on the other hand, will eat the bunny. On the other hand. Because most of the cats out there are obligate carnivores. But us humans, and other primates, a lot of primates are herbivores. For the most part. If we were obligate carnivores, it'd be in our nature to abuse a lot of animals if we were obligate carnivores. Good thing we're not. Because if we were, animals around the world, they'd be screwed. I personally would say no to animal hunting, unless you really have to. Unless you really have to, it's not a good idea to be hunting. Because what you're doing is you're scaring the crap out of the animals that do survive. That don't get shot, you're scaring the crap out of them. Because, like us humans, animals have an inborn fear of sound. Loud sounds. Animals have an inborn fear of loud sounds. Just like humans do. Some of us overcome it. A lot of us have an inborn fear of fire, too. Which is why I agree, which is why you should not go to a circus that uses animals, except for dogs and cats, if they're trained properly without the use of violence. Violence is not the answer in our society. Violence should not be tolerated. But people still tend to be violent sometimes. Oh, run away from it all. Eventually, those who want to keep their jobs, they'd be out of luck eventually, because they're going to end up getting displaced, ultimately, whether they want to or not. Oops. My bad. Much better. Good, good, good. Let's hope factory farm workers end up getting a conviction for animal abuse. Let's hope they get convicted if they get caught. What I encourage you to do if you're a law enforcement officer is sneak into a factory farm, liberate the animals. That's what I encourage you to do. And those factory farm workers, I encourage you to arrest them. And gather all the evidence to prove that they're abusing animals. That's what I encourage you to do. Because being a farm animal can be pretty miserable if it's a factory farm. Now, let's get towards this. Like, with flooring. Run away from it all. And with animal abuse growing, concerns on animal rights growing, this is why vegetarianism is growing all over the world. I'm pretty happy about that. The number of vegetarians is growing. Let's hope it keeps on growing. Let's hope we keep up with the growth of vegetarianism. Because I'd rather see a world in which everybody is compassionate towards animals. More compassionate future for society. Because all the animal abuse going on, it's actually the result of greed. The meat industry is really greedy. Even more so than Conquer the Squirrel. Even though he is pretty greedy, he's nothing compared to factory farms in America. When it goes to the amount of greed. They're pretty greedy. So greedy, some of the animals, why would they breed them to grow so large so quickly? You're crippling them as a result. This is what happens when an industry like that makes a lot of money exploiting their workers and animals. Solely for profit. The meat industry is profit-driven, which means a shit ton of greed in the meat industry. animals have to live like this. With the male piglet's balls being ripped out, dairy cows being forcibly impregnated, unwanted animals getting killed via thumping. All of this is reality on our factory farms. This is reality. Which is why this community I'm building would be entirely vegan. One way to fight capitalism is by going vegetarian. Because the meat industry is profit. It's driven by profit. They're pretty greedy. So greedy, in fact, they breed animals and drug them to make sure they grow fast enough. Because all they care about is reaching the market weight in the shortest time possible. Some of those animals, they get crippled. Yeah. It's pretty painful. Imagine being bred to grow so large so quickly. It's gonna hurt. It'll be pretty hard to walk. It's gonna get... Walking would be pretty hard if you were bred... If you grew too tall too quickly. It'll lead to... Being bred to grow so large so quickly leads to disability. They don't care about the welfare of the animal whatsoever. The only thing they care about is money. Nothing but money. As a result of investigations going on non-stop, big agriculture decided to threatened our freedom of speech with ag-gag laws. It's not nice to do shit like that. Those ag-gag laws put into place. Because the reason we don't want to... The reason we couldn't... the reason why those laws couldn't be put into place, one of those reasons, it violates our freedom of speech. One of those reasons is it violates our freedom of speech. It violates it. This is pretty sad. It's pretty... And if those laws were put into place, our freedom would be in danger. Because we are a country based on freedom. We, our fellow Americans, and comrades in Canada, are all based on freedom. Those ag-gag laws big agriculture wants to put into place, it's going to endanger our freedoms. Which is why those laws shouldn't be put into place anyway. This is what happens in capitalism. Our equality gets compromised. And ultimately, our freedoms will end up being compromised as well. Capitalism leads to slavery, ultimately. Just so the CEOs can make so much money, while their workers suffer. Non-stop. Doesn't matter how hard they work, they end up suffering ultimately. This is pretty sad. It ultimately results... Capitalism ultimately causes animal abuse. I'd compare factory farming to the Holocaust. This concludes our video for today. Leave a like if you liked this video, dislike if you disliked it, subs if you loved it. Share this with your friends to help my channel grow. As always, thank you for watching and peace out.